Hello, I'm Isaac Martinez, and I'm here to talk to you about my aha moment. For many people, exercise is pretty dreadful. For me, it is. It's pretty dreadful. I hate to think about having to start getting in shape. I like the idea of it, but once I start, I'm like, oh, why did I do this? It's always such a rough start. But like my summers always start. As a wildland firefighter, we start every summer with our physical fitness test to make sure that we can keep up with each other. And it's 3 miles in 45 minutes with 45 pounds on our backs that we have to accomplish. And the whole point of this is to talk about mind over matter, pretty much. But I'm going to talk about how I figured out that mental block that you get in your head, and like for jobs that are pretty physically demanding, that are for arduous tasks and stuff like that, you got to learn to just be able to push past that. And for number one, exercise and fitness are pretty important, but I would never go into the summers in shape. I was eating poorly, never exercised prior to it, and I knew I should have prepared, but I just never did. I never could get that motivation to go for a run or go to the gym. And it wouldn't be until about midsummer that I was like in decent shape where I can keep up with everybody. I could hike and stuff like that. But it was just rough. It always was, because sometimes I was the last person, or I fell back, or something happened. Now that I've discussed my struggles with laziness, I'll go over what I've learned how to combat that exhaustion, how to maybe mentally block it. I went in there several years out of shape. I figured, I'll just get in shape when work starts. But, and when I would be struggling with the hikes, I would ask my coworkers, like, well, how do you get about it? And they're like, well, a lot of times when I'm walking behind somebody, I just follow their feet when they're in front of me. And by doing so, by focusing on their feet, it, for whatever reason, puts your mind in a different place, and you're able to keep going. I had issues with that, trying to keep up with people, especially with some of the people who had longer legs. Some of the people, like my supervisor, who was a really tall guy, and I'm not. I'm pretty short. So I struggle with learning how to block it. But really, like in general, people only push themselves to 40% of their physical capabilities, as Dr. Yanowski explains. And to like wrap up my speech, show a picture. The photo is showing like some of my accomplishment with it, because I had a moment at work one day where we had to hike some pretty steep stuff, and we had a few miles to get to the truck where they had left it. And I knew it was going to be long, and I knew it was going to be tiring. And as we started climbing up like the first steep hill, I said, well, you know what, I got a long ways to go. I gotta just remind myself that you're not tired yet. And by doing so, it actually I was able to hike pretty fast. I was at the front, and then when we did stop to take a break and I wasn't at the front, I was easily able to keep up with the people who were in front of me. And notably, once we saw the truck, my legs started to feel a little bit more tired, but still throughout that, the most important part of that, I was able to block out that mental, those mental games that your mind plays whenever you're fatigued. In conclusion, more than the mental block anymore, I will more than likely go into it in shape, exercising and stuff like that, because it does make a difference. Because it does suck to go into it and start hiking and stuff like that, and you're just tired. It's better to be ready for it, be ready to hike, and just go into the gym, running, walking, hiking and stuff like that. Preferably with 45 pounds, carrying the weight that I usually use, and just to get in better shape. And like that mental block would work even when I'm exercising like that. Thank you very much. Thanks for listening to my speech.